Hey guys, what's up? Itchla coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Shla. And today, things are pretty good. I actually woke up. Good time. I mean, it wasn't as early as it could be, but I would say it basically just struck like early enough to where I wasn't really in a rush. I mean, I had to eat my food somewhat quickly, but it was actually a good morning. I slept good last night. So that was pretty nice. That was pretty nice. Definitely better than yesterday. So now the only thing that's kind of trash is it's just Tuesday. That's not really, I wish we could have really skipped a day. I wish that were a thing, just to be able to skip a day. So. Anyways, something, I guess it's hitting me. I mean, I think about these things a lot, but, I don't know. It does come and go as well. Just the idea of, like, I really think about a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the stuff that I have, the toys, the things, even the tech, and how, that money really could be going to help a lot of people, and instead it's just, gets wasted on junk that accumulates in my room. And it's just kind of that whole like conundrum. I think I've probably talked about it before, where there's just that conundrum about it, about like it not really being fair, because I'm over here like basically obsessing over every little thing that I can think of, and then there's other people that just indulge and they just don't even care, because like maybe if their mental bandwidth is different, they're already so stressed from like their regular day-to-day life that they don't even have any time or energy to even care about, this or that, or right. It's just a very bad situation. Just a super bad situation. But again, I don't know. I mean, how do you get to that? You know what I mean? How do you, like, is the person evil? I think there is an evil, but maybe it's not a conscious evil, right? Because I don't like how, I don't know, I'm not blaming GPT, but the way it gets framed is it's just like, oh, well, different people have different emotional bandwidths. And so yours is just higher, which is a good thing. But the caveat to that is that now, you see things in slow motion and everybody else is seeing them at like regular speed. So I have like so much more time to think about and process things, and other people, like, it's like they're just not, like, they're just processing it in real time, which is not really that fast. Whereas basically for me, I think my perception is things almost move at a slower pace, I would say, overall. I think that's pretty relevant, because if that is your if that's your point of perception, you're able to you have so much more time to rationalize things out. Like, I don't know, I just think my brain is able to fool around with time. I mean, sometimes time can be what am I saying? I mean, sometimes time goes by fast, like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes time, it goes by at a quick speed for me perceptively. That's, you know, just par for the course. But in terms of what am I saying? In terms of like an extra kind of insight into things and stuff, that's just what I tend to see. Is I don't know. Like, again, I think a regular person's commute to work, they're not really able to think or like prioritize like, well, what should I be doing versus shouldn't. They're like rolled out of bed, grumbly, and they're gonna just have the music on, not having these kind of dialogues during in the head up to work. I mean, work for them in and of itself is probably like too much, or they'd rather have less hours or things like that. I just have to try to think about regular people. That's what I have to think about, because I'm so used to just casting my own judgment from my vantage point. And I guess, I realize that not everybody has that capability, and I haven't even used it well. I think up until this point, it's not really a useful skill until you become an adult, really. That's when I would say the skill becomes more useful or more pronounced. That's how I feel about it anyways, because like as a child or even as a young adult right now, actually, I'm not considered young adult is a term that I think gets applied to different things. I don't know that well, I don't know. In your 20s, it's still not even a useful skill. It's not really going to be a useful trait until probably 30s, maybe late 20s, because yeah, like the ability to, I mean, I haven't really even used it for this until recently, right? Like, it's only just recently I finally decided to do car rides with Schloss. So like, that's an example of the optimization finally working. Before that, it just didn't really work. I mean, I was able to see how much of a problem it was, the commute, and see how suboptimal it is. But to actually come up with a counter solution, I think it takes a lot more time, effort, and energy. And that's it's also just a symptom of, I think, humanity too, because everybody's probably that way. It's much easier to complain and to see the problem with something, but then to take that and actually bring a solution to the table, that takes an immense amount of neural muscle, right? So I think that's like an interesting observation, is it takes a lot more muscle to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like upset because I have, the cravings to spend, and then it's like I really like way overspent. I feel like, given like the situation I was in, like for a while before I had a job, I was really, I mean, I say I was blowing all my money, but I really wasn't. Like, I honestly still had like some money, but I'm saying, considering where I was at in life, it didn't make any sense. Like there was no excuse for spending the amount I did. Like I should have just saved it. But I'm realizing as I'm saying this though, like I still saved more than most. Like that's just the truth of it. I don't know. But it's still kind of hard on myself in the sense of I could have been better. You know what I mean? I could have been better. Yeah, sorry, I don't know, I guess because I ate, like, I don't know what, I might have some kind of a cold, too, I don't know, that would explain things, but I don't really think I have, like, much of a cold or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just, just weird, because I don't have a cough. That is actually the crazy thing. I have not coughed in a very long time. You know. Just think that's like an interesting thing to think about. Like earlier, that wasn't actually a cough. It was just a clear in my throat. But you know, a lot of people have like coughs and stuff, and I don't even get that. I just think it's a mixture of drinking a lot of water and also walking, because I learned that walking reduces the symptom and the chance of developing a cold. So that is probably it. And you know, I know a lot of people who just don't walk because it's not incentivized in modern society really at all, with how busy everybody gets. I mean, it would really need to be a hobby. I don't know, I just started doing it because you're supposed to, but I guess for a lot of people that's not really enough of a reason, you know. Like, I don't know. I actually wish I could walk more, but it's just, I mean, by the time I come home, it's like pitch black out. And then recently I've kind of been in a rut, so I have to like get through that, because when I'm in a better state, it's actually like fine for me to engage in that kind of stuff, like, you know, extra exercise. But I'm pretty upset. I still, like, the whole weightlifting thing never manifest. I do want to mention something though, because I was talking about my food being pretty disgusting yesterday, and I did eat it fine today, so I don't really know what the problem was with the food yesterday. Like, I guess it was too much cheese, but it was just like a very weird thing, because, I mean, yeah, I think it was probably too much cheese, but still just seemed odd to me. It just seemed super odd. But I do notice that because I cooked it at a higher heat and I left it cook for a little bit longer, that did affect the taste. So I really need to be mindful of that, you know, moving forward. I definitely just do, because it really does impact the flavor of the beef. I don't know. It really does. It impacts the flavor. It makes it have more of a burned or like a smoky taste. And I don't really like that. I'm not really a fan of it. So it's kind of frustrating that I did that, because again, that's like the first time I did it because I was rushing. So yeah, it's not good. I guess I've been taking for granted how perfectly I cook my ground beef, you know, like, as with everything. And I also think, oh, well, like, it won't be a big difference. I won't be able to tell a difference. But of course I do, because I'm very in touch with, like, taste and different senses and things like that, and being able to talk about and articulate the different senses. So it is what it is. Like, I don't know. But so I can tell that if you cook ground beef on a higher heat or for a longer duration, it alters the taste. And I'm not a fan of it, but at least now I know that there's a reason. Because before, I was always just cooking it really perfectly, and I obviously didn't really know what the reason would, or like, I just thought, whatever, it's all good. But now I'm kind of seeing a different side of it, right? But yeah, I guess that's what's afflicting me recently, is it's just really the money situation. Like, I really want and probably should have more money, but just can't. I don't know. Like, I don't. It's really a shame. And of course, I think I've mentioned this before too. Like, the fact that I'm not grabbing a higher paying job, it means somebody else who probably needs it more has it. Because that's really the thing is I can get away with the job I have for now. So in that sense too. But then, I mean, somebody could have a higher paying job who doesn't deserve it, and then that kind of nullifies that argument. So I'm actually not really sure. But at least in theory, it's like I can make do with a low paying job, and I can make do with it. I don't know that everybody could, so it is what it is, I guess. But I really want to grow in 2026. I don't know what to do. But yeah, I don't know. I still feel a little bit tired. I kind of wished I would have been able to lay in bed longer. And I'm actually trying to check my sleep time now. It looks pretty good. Not as good as it could be, though. I'm usually only getting 7 hours. I don't really know how I could get more sleep. Well, I do, but it's like, I don't know. What I am doing is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. This schedule with the long shifts, but we're gonna be through the middle of it already today. So, because I don't going to work on. So. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that missing the morning weightlifting, like, was kind of a sign that I don't even, because I'm definitely not at my best in the morning car rides weightlifting. I think, I don't know, because it's weird, because some of them, especially in the beginning, I felt like they turned out pretty good, but then now I don't really get that impression. Like, they usually seem pretty bad, the morning car rides weightlifting. It's Yeah, I'm just not sure. I don't know. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. It's a mixture of things. It's having to make a decision about changing lanes right now because there's a part up ahead now I don't like anymore, and then some rock song that's been in my head. I really need to start making my own rock, but I don't have a band. That's really the problem. I need a band. And then I can start making rock music. But yeah, I don't know, like where I'm at in my life. I'm not sure where I'm at in my life. Like, it's okay, but I still always get that, like, financial feeling of pressure. Like, it's always like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Did I get over... I might have gotten over too soon. But, yeah, I just don't like switching lanes. I just don't do that, typically. But... yeah, like, I'm not used to it. So even when I do it, I'm like... what? Like, I usually just stay in the right lane. But... given what's going on, it's like, I don't really want to do that. Because it's terrible. Oh my gosh. Guy's about to ruin my day. This is because he couldn't wait like another second. He just couldn't wait another second. Yep, now he's just switching back anyway. It's like, really? These people. Too much changing lanes. Yeah, sorry I'd stopped talking for a while there. I just had to just focus on driving. I just had to focus on driving. And I don't have the most of things to say, I would say, right now. I don't have the most other than, yeah, just the the feeling of scarcity and, typical stuff that I deal with, and wondering, like, still not really fair. Like, other people really get to have fun and enjoy things and all that, and it's just like, I don't know. And then I'm just stuck with my same old of being very serious. But yeah, like, I don't even think people probably never think about that either. The whole other people thing, and how they just probably don't think about other people. So their ability to understand other people is probably quite limited. It's just not really I don't know. I mean, people, I don't think they really understand. They just don't understand reality, I think that's like the big thing. And in a way, I think everybody has a blindness to reality, but I genuinely think, even as a 20-something-year-old, my comprehension of reality is just a bit more accurate. I don't know. It just seems like it. Like, I've known a lot of people who are adults, and it's like, I just don't know. I just think it's weird. Because people don't really have, like, a firm grasp of reality, and yeah, I just think it's weird. I think it's such a weird thing where everybody really has such a subjective view of it. And again, in my opinion, I feel like I'm closer to the objective. I think there's a good amount of evidence for that, but I'm obviously completely admitting I'm sure there's ways I'm biased or whatnot, but it's difficult to talk to people in that way, since the world is so run by just confusion and opinion, and you don't even know a person's intention when they're trying to teach you of something or convince you of something. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot to take into account, for sure. So, yeah, it's a shame. I don't know. I wish the mornings were a little bit more, but I still feel I wish I could sleep a little more, but I'm still on the grind, so I'm just still here. Still doing my thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not really having an easy time thinking of things to mention, and I'm having to do something pretty stressful now, like, because a bunch of stuff just happened. Like, I had my turn signal on, and the person behind me cut out in front of me, which they're not supposed to do, and then once I was finally able to merge, then I had to push it because this big truck was like right there. But if I waited, which I really wanted to wait, that really wouldn't have ended well, because I would have ran out of lane to merge. It would have just been on the highway, and behind this truck there was like another car and stuff, so it was just two rude people back to back like that. So I had to push my car more than I usually do. I usually don't apply the throttle that much, but I had to, because that guy cut out behind me, and I wanted to press my horn, but I don't, that doesn't really. It really can't be a horn. It would need to be like a Neuralink shock. Like, you could transfer a shock wave to another human. You could, like a shock collar when they do something wrong. That would really be more of an effective way to get through to a person, in my estimation. Give them a little shock. Because, yeah, I mean, a Neuralink shock would need to be pretty minimal to even have an effect, so. We're actually going to get there, I think, pretty on time. That's why. This morning, again, I was out here early. I was actually doing good this morning, so I believe we will make it to work at a nice time. Yeah, it's a shame. I apologize. I don't have that much content to like talk about, but I don't really have much, and I wanted it to be more of a relaxing thing. And I guess what's happening is my brain is in a deep mode right now. It's not changing modes, but I should have changed mode to just talking about myself, because if I was doing that, which I almost think I kind of was doing that earlier, so I don't know, but the point I wanted to make is that even if I stopped doing the morning car ride with Schla, it wouldn't even make that much sense, because like I still like doing the car ride with Schla, like even with the silent moments. Like, it's not, I just want to fill it up because I think that's a more useful skill, as I get older and everything, is to just be able to keep a show running if I had a show. But, the truth of it is, even like yesterday, even with the eating my breakfast on the way to work, and how I just skipped the car ride with Schla, in retrospect, I still would have rather just had the mic running. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel, because even if there's just a little bit of thing that I want to eventually talk about, which there probably, now when the mic's not running in the car, it feels strange. It feels off. It feels like, you know, it just don't feel right, because now I'm used to having this as a thing where I can start talking and I know it's recording, and then that one morning it's like I feel like there's like tape over my mouth now because the microphone, it releases something. The microphone releases something. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But I also feel like very tired. So that's not good. I literally just like, I've just been tired. I've just been mentally, physically tired. And I want like a break. And I'm not letting myself have a break. So I don't really know how that will turn out. But because I have to last like another year pretty much before, I think in a year before I get like a break. I don't know. So, yep, and it's, again, I definitely could end up giving myself a little bit of a break, but I just don't end up doing that. And, yeah, I mean, if I was on the ball, we could have cracked a record time. Actually, I think a minute before what it is now was actually my actual record time. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. But it doesn't really matter anyway. Unless I do snag in here. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Wow. We did with like 17 seconds to spare. I was not expecting that. Yeah, we did good today. We did good. We did very good. So that's good. I think the worst of it's over. But yeah, I don't know. It has just been difficult for me to do, the whole thing. Alright, well. Wow, I need to charge my recording phone. I don't know why it got that low. Alright. Something to add to my to-do list, huh? Alright, guys, we're tired. I need to get energy. That's really the main thing, is I need energy, man. Alright. Alright, well, I think it's going to be time for a Benchla and a bishlaw pretty soon. So, yeah, I think it's Benchla, but now it's time to bishlaw. So, see you, shla.